Hi, this is Snaily Snail. So recently, I have been getting a lot of like random cold calls from my classmates from high school, and they're here like, telling me about like whatever cool projects they're working on. And one of them asked me to be their general counsel. Unfortunately, I had to turn it down because I didn't study law that extensively, and so I don't actually have a law degree. I like didn't pass the bar or anything like that, and also I would have to pass the bar in their state. We'll see. Like one day maybe I'll like go for my law degree, but I don't really foresee it in the future. So today I thought I would talk about my encounters with international students and also just like Chinese class in college, because that's actually how I met most of the international students. I got accepted to college, and then下年你有報名講 OK，like 我想上佢呢課講我嘅中文老師咪發呢 email 講如果你上我嘅中文班，你有參加佢嘅 like Chinese buddy program, and so I was like, all right, like I'll take a buddy. So my first buddy was very outgoing, and she loved going to parties, and I had this like one party that I really wanted to go to because 同我嘅朋友呢我去佢個 party. It was 我一個船，我能時唔夠水飲, so I was like not interested in drinking anyway. We're on the ship, and then she just like met this guy from Harvard, and I'm like, where did he come from? And then my Chinese buddy was like, I just want to hang out with him the whole night. Are you okay with that? And I was like, okay, cool. I'll just like hang out with my high school friends. So we danced and we had fun, and then we went back to school. The next day, she texts me about Joe, and I was like, bro, I'm telling you, he's boy. I already knew. Like Joe looked a little stoned. He looked like he didn't want to be there. He also said, "Oh, we're monui pangyu." So of course my buddy's like, "Oh, let me like slide in real quick." I decided to sleuth a little, and I was like, "Okay, wait, hold up. Joe has a girlfriend who's also at Harvard, and he was so sus." I felt so bad. She was so heartbroken. So that happened in the beginning of the school year, and then throughout the school year, I'm taking Chinese. There's this one time during Chinese class, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So we were learning about like health or something. So the TA picked this girl who was on the bigger side and was just like, why is your body like that? But then she actually had to answer in Chinese, and I was just like, what the hell? Like, that's not cool. And then this like poor girl, she's pre-med, so of course she's like spending so many hours studying and like cramming and stuff, and she's like, well, I don't have time to be exercising, so I'm stressed all the time, so I'm eating a lot. And I'm just like, this poor girl like does not deserve this. So whenever we're like making sentences up in Chinese, I'm like, you know what, ask troll questions, get troll answers. So they were like, oh, 你找什么样的男人? I would say things like 只要他有钱我什么都不在乎. And they were like, no, like seriously. And I mean, like, I don't know, like it fits the sentence structure. I don't know what else you could be looking for. I would say some of the TAs like really wanted like a deeper relationship with their students, and it was like really weird. They kept inviting us over for food, like that's fine. But there were like one or two TAs who just like wanted a little bit more, and I'm just like not down for that. So 我個班我就有識叫阿杜, but there's this one TA who just like really abused the Chinese class. So he waited until the professor wasn't there, and then he was like, okay, 小考, and then but like in the beginning, they already told us that you don't have to actually write. I'm used to writing Chinese characters, so it was like fine for me. But then for a lot of the other kids, they were just like, what is going on? Oh my god. Yeah, they tossed out that quiz, but I'm pretty sure lots of people were really shaken up after that. It's like, 你幾解冇男朋友啊? Oh, 你去哪拍拖? And I'm always like, 我太忙, like, 所以有時間拍拖. It really felt like a dating market. They even taught us about like the dating market in Shanghai, where they put the umbrellas out on the streets, and they have like all the stats on each son, daughter, whatever. I don't know, it was very uncomfortable. And then let's see, 講佢同步有 like 相望, and we had to search up a dating profile, and people were like, yo, go on page 10. So then I went on page 10, and then this guy puts like 我有大姐姐 on his freaking bio, and I'm like, bro, if you have to say it, I'm sorry, I don't think you got it. And one year I had a buddy who was actually in like Shanghai, so we would have to Skype at like 7 a.m. and talk about life. Yeah, so we would be like on WeChat, and we would have to like talk to people, and Yeah, like it was okay. 講句我藝學能時學見勁大. I would say like half the class was international students, so lots of my friends were international. And then of course, because they're studying abroad, there were a lot of 富二代, or like, you know, like the second generation, the really rich international kids. And there was like this one kid who would always wear freaking emoji pants. So I always called him like emoji boy. 佢要熱愛紅梅 emoji pants guy. 我有一個老闆. Once Xi Jinping came on the board, he started saluting and cheering. So I was like, okay, you do you, boy. And then you on econometrics class. So he arrived late to the class, and then it was really strange because 嗰兩個男隊 like 企起線 and was like 老闆望隻眼出來 and I was just like, this is so strange. Like, I think I just found the Chinese mafia. So after that, I was like, okay, I gotta be like this guy's friend because he's like clearly boss level. So I found out he went to my history class. So I was like, hey, can you drive me to class? There's like an upper-ish campus and a lower campus, and there's no way you can make it in time because they only give you 10 minutes to walk in between classes. This was like a 20-minute walk. So he said, sure. So we get to the car and I'm like, oh, okay, you drive a Porsche. And that's how I got a chauffeur. So he actually ended up driving me for history class every single time. And then he would skip class. Classic. Yeah, 要一個女仔佢揸一個綠色 Ferrari. I think she like just got her license because 佢揸好快. Like I know I drive fast, but she drives like, I don't know, man. She can't even drive straight. But she's like, oh, this is like a gift from my dad. I'm like, good for you. I did not see the green Ferrari for too long. Yeah, 要幾個好鍾意 like 遊戲. So during my sophomore year, I really liked playing League of Legends. League of Legends had a patch, and then I had no idea how to start a game, so I was just like, screw this, I'm not playing this anymore. There was also like a decent number of international students on my floor, and my international friends would tell me, oh my god, you see, we like all na dun now, because they didn't like want to leave the game. And I'm like, that's so gross. So they had bottles of urine in their room. So that's when I met Whaley Whale, and he was just like, it's so gross in the men's bathroom. Like, they literally take a dump and then they don't flush. I'm not saying like all of them, I'm just saying the two gamers who did not have enough time to leave for the bath. I don't know. Like, is it really so hard to flush a toilet? My sophomore year, I decided I would like branch out and start meeting new people. So I tried becoming friends with the Hong Kong crowd, and it's so hard because they speak in Chinglish. So like a Chinglish is one of those like Chinese stories turned into like 4 or 5 words, 8 words, I don't know, like a couple words, and it's supposed to be like those lessons. I really don't know too many of those like things, so I think lots of people are like, yo, could you teach us some like Chinese colloquialisms? I'm like, I don't think I know any, because let's be real, both my parents I don't think they like really graduated from elementary school. So yeah, my Chinese is clearly like, it's okay, but it's not like great. As I've been told many times as a translator. So I'm here like sitting with all the Hong Kong people. Like when I'm sitting with them and they're speaking Cantonese, it's like straight up Chengyu after Chengyu. And I'm like, I might recognize like a word or two, but most of the time I'm like, like I'm that kid who's laughing like a little too hard and like a little too late. I think I understood what they're saying, but I wasn't positive. And also, you don't want to be the person who's like, can you explain that? After every single word. I would say for the most part, like all the international students that I've met have been really pleasant. Maybe not to everyone, but they were nice to me. So those were my interactions with Chinese international students and also learning Chinese in university. Let me know if you have a favorite Chengyu, because I probably need to learn a few. Oh, thank God for subtitles. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week. Bye! So people say that 我呢中文都 Flamingo, and I'm like, well, yeah, I am a Flamingo, so like, what you expect?